Welcome back and welcome to another bookish video. I thought I would do a mid-month wrap-up for you this month, since I am going to be away at the end of October and the beginning of November. So I thought if I bring you a mid-month wrap-up, then if my December wrap-up ends up going up during the end of the first week of November, it's not going to be so much of an issue. I will make up for the fact that I'm not going to have a wrap up until the end of the month by hoping to bring you some Disney vlogs. This video is very much going to be, I read this on audiobook, and just generally brought to you by this morning's cup of coffee in my Strand Books mug. You know I love this mug. So I recently posted a vlog for you guys saying, am I in a reading slump? I'm having trouble finishing anything this month. And I do still feel a little bit like I'm struggling to finish things. I've currently got a lot of books on the go, and I've got some short books on my TBR, and so I don't know why I'm not kind of going to those books when I feel like this, but there's just so many books on my TBR that I really want to read this month, and I don't know if I felt overwhelmed by it. But anyway, let's jump right in with the books I've finished. There are 3 that I don't have to show you here because I don't have physical copies of them. I might do by the end of the month wrap up, I don't know. There's all sorts of factors that come into play. I've got holds on the library, I've got books coming from the UK. It's like, we'll wait and see. So I listened to 3 books that were, I read 3 books that were on my October TBR. The first one of those I did in audiobook, and that is the, ebook. Goodness, I have not had enough of that coffee, clearly. The first one of these I did in ebook, and that is the second book in the Cinders and Sparks series by Lindsay Kelk. This was another kind of twist on the fairy tale that we all kind of know and love, but bringing in a whole bunch of other fairy tales into there. We've got Hansel from Hansel and Gretel, we've got the 3 bears, we've got lots of other kind of fairy tale elements that come in, and Lindsay Kelk has taken them and gone, what if actually this is how it went down, or what if actually they live today, and what if actually Cinders just was like magical and badass and told it like it is. I really recommend these books. If you've got somebody in your life that would enjoy these books as well, definitely recommend investing. I had this pre-ordered on ebook because I knew the physical book wouldn't come quickly enough, and I was excited to read. And then another one, these are all ones I had pre-ordered or had holds on at the library actually. 2 audiobooks I listened to where I don't have the physical version of them. I know, unusual, right? The first of these was The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes, which I had absolutely pre-ordered on audiobook, and I'm really glad I did order the audiobook because this one is set mostly in Kentucky but involves somebody from England living in Kentucky and becoming a traveling librarian, and so because it was on audiobook, it meant that we could hear the changes in accent and hear that Kentucky accent versus that English accent, which I really enjoyed. And I think if I'd been reading it in ebook or physical book form, I might not have heard that change of accent in my head as well. And so I really enjoyed the fact that the narrator did that for me. Recommend the audiobook of that one. And then the other audiobook, which I had placed a hold on at my library and just pinged onto my phone on the first day of release, good job Arapo Libraries, was Beautiful on the Outside by Adam Rippon. I heard him talk at Book Expo about this book, and I think went on my library website then and there to check and see if they had it on order, which I believe they did. This one came out on the 15th, on Tuesday, and he reads the audiobook and it had me laughing. It was just so good. I read it in kind of 2 big chunks and finished the last chunk of it right before bed. And I was sat through in the bedroom just laughing to myself and one of the anecdotes he told. And I really enjoyed the book. I really liked his attitude to what he was saying. Really recommend this one if you are looking for a memoir to listen to, or possibly a memoir to gift, since we are coming up to festive gift season when all these big books are coming out and being on those bestseller lists and on those reduced shelves ready for you to gift them for Christmas. Then aside from this one book here, the rest of these I believe I've done in audiobook so far, so this is very much an audiobook heavy month. I mean, generally audiobooks are my biggest category anyway, but I've been relying on them an awful lot to get through my TBR and to get to things I'm genuinely excited about reading this month. So if you watched that vlog that I mentioned earlier on, you will have seen me reading Black Canary Ignite by Meg Cabot. I really enjoyed this graphic novel. I enjoyed the female friendship, and I enjoyed the feminist nature of the book itself, and the illustrations are really quite cool. I like the muted colours, and I read this right after watching the new Joker film, so that's set in Gotham and this is set in Gotham too, so I think I read it at exactly the right time. And I should have had Harley Quinn Breaking Glass with me that day, so I could just go straight on to reading that, because I went into reading something else and it wasn't quite hitting the spot. So yes, finished this graphic novel. This is a signed graphic novel, and this comes out on the 29th of October, so it's not out yet, but my review will be up on the blog soon. And then I carried on with my Shopaholic series reread. I am going to make a video about my rereading experience, because I did most of these on audiobook, and I have some thoughts about the rereading, the series itself, and then specifically the audiobooks, which I think would be best explained in a video. So that will be coming up soon. I listened to Shopaholic to the Stars by Sophie Kinsella and Shopaholic to the Rescue by Sophie Kinsella. And in terms of a wrap up, I am probably about an hour and a half away from finishing Christmas Shopaholic. So possibly even by the time this video is uploaded and in your subscription feed, I will have finished that one. So we're kind of jumping into books I have finished, not quite, but will be soon. So yeah, so I had these two left to read, and then I have Christmas Shopaholic. I pre-ordered the Waterston Special Edition, which is currently with my mum in the UK and will be winging its way over to me. So by the time I bring you my end of month wrap up, I will have that glorious sprayed edges, shiny, beautiful, wondrous book to show you. But I also pre-ordered the audiobook so that I could listen to it, because I realised I'd been listening to the rest of the books in the series and would want to carry on in that same format, because I don't find once I've started a series on audiobook that I can then switch to non-audiobook form. Yeah, that's just me. That's just the way I am. And then I also put a hold on every format of the book at my library and got the ebook on the day it was released. So I read the first couple of chapters on release day in ebook on my phone. This is how excited, it's probably the most excited about a book release I've been this year. I say that now, I'll like look back on things that came out in like February, March time and be like, no. Yeah, so those are, then I also listened to, but do have a glorious finished copy of, The Christmas Wish List by Heidi Swain. I listened to this. I pre-ordered the audiobook and it came out a week after the ebook, and the paperback also came out I think a week later. Don't know why they decided to delay it, because I was all excited and kept refreshing and kept signing in and out of my Audible app to see where it was, and then I realised that I got an email saying that it wouldn't be out until the next Thursday. I was like, no, I have a whole other week to wait. but it meant that I started listening to this when it was snowing outside on like a cold, snowy day, and it brought me comfort from the snow, because you know the snow makes me very anxious, and it was just the perfect time to listen to it, because they had the first snow and I was having the first snow, and it was just perfect, and I just loved this so much. If you are looking for a really good, comforting Christmas read, obviously all of Heidi Swain's Christmas novels are fantastic, but this just exudes that comforting feeling of being home at Christmas and that. So if you're looking for that, definitely recommend this one. And look at just, it's foil, it's red foil and gold foil. It's a thing of beauty, even the spine, and then all these gorgeous festive flowers on the back as well. Loved it. It was so much fun. And then books that I am partway through, obviously we've mentioned Christmas Shopaholic, which by the time you see this, realistically, I probably will have finished it, because I will listen in the car on my way to work. I have been doing a reread that wasn't on my TBR. The rest of these things have been on my TBR so far. I hope you are proud of the fact that I kind of stuck to that this month. But this one I decided I just needed to reread, and this is My Ideal Boyfriend is a Croissant. I've probably got about less than an hour left of the audiobook of this one. This is the American cover edition and title of Big Bones by Laura Dockrell, which I absolutely fell in love with, and it has been a joy, an absolute joy to reread it. And it's been interesting to do it on another format as well, because I read a paperback copy of Big Bones, and so it's been interesting listening to the audiobook of My Ideal Boyfriend is a Croissant. But I really do literally only have about an hour of this left. So again, if you're not watching this the day it'll go up, I will have finished this by now. Then two books I have started and don't necessarily have a formal plan as to when I'm going to finish them. If you watched that vlog, you'll have seen me start Bouncing Back by Scott Ostler, which is about wheelchair basketball and is a middle grade novel, and so I don't know why I haven't finished it. I think I just kind of jumped into other things, and I will come back to this. I've been carrying it around in my bag for a little while, so hopefully I'll be finishing it soon. I'm about a third of the way into it. And then last weekend I began The Photographer of The Photographer of the Lost by Caroline Scott. I can't see the author's name on the cover because it's this like hidden title cover, which again is fun to show in the light. And I began this one and then realized I wasn't really in the mood for something historical right then, so I might be coming back to this weekend, or I might leave it until during the week and see if it tickles my fancy more during the week. But I'm not very far into this one, so I just wanted to mention the fact that I was reading it. And I'm also listening to The Body by Bill Bryson, but I'm listening to that with Ollie, and we don't have a lot of listening time together. We did a little trip down to Colorado Springs, and that was perfect for listening to a couple of hours there and back. But I think we need to actively make a plan to finish listening to that one, because I don't think there's going to be a natural time that we're together in the car. And I would like to finish that one soon, because I would like to get my review up during at least release month. We've missed release day in the UK and the US, even though they were weeks apart. Yeah. And that one I also had pre-ordered on audiobook. So there you have it. I have lots more left on my TBR to read. At this point, I can see that I'm not going to get to all of it. But as I said, I am traveling on the penultimate day of the month. And then the beginning of November, I will be at Disney World, so there will be no reading. But on my travel day, I have quite a lot of travel, just because of the changes that I'm making. So I'm hoping to get to one of those where you kind of start on your travel day and you finish it on your travel day as well. But I will have some backups too. Very exciting. And there are still some books that are yet to come out in October that I want to read. So I have myself either pre-ordered or have myself on the wait list at the library for those ones. So I will be back with my movie reviews video for you on Sunday. I will be back with another bookish video for you next week. So make sure you are subscribed so that those land in your subscription feed. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you have been reading this month in the comments, and I will see you with my next video. Bye.